Hello and welcome back to Artisan Upholstery Studio. If you've been here before, you know my name is Amy, and if you haven't, now's your chance to subscribe. I hope you had a chance to watch my last video on upholstering this velvet sofa. If you didn't, go back and watch it, because today we're going to make the cushions. The first step I take when making new cushions for a sofa is to put the old cushions on just to see how they fit and whether or not they should be changed. Now these are the original spring cushion forms, and I'm going to keep them because the springs inside are still intact and in good shape, and the cushions themselves are still very comfortable. I'm going to measure each cushion individually just to see the basic size that I need to cut the panels. Now this center cushion is just a square. That one should be lickety split. But these ones are shaped in the corners. So we're going to want to draw out the shape of these, and even though they might be different, we're going to make them exactly the same. So once you have your panels cut and laying on the sofa, make sure that you mark the tops so that the direction stays correct as you work through the sewing stages. Now I'm going to take those two pieces that I marked out and make sure that I cut them the same, and I want to remeasure the area so that I make sure that I'm getting it cut correctly. Okay, I'm fairly happy with these, so I'm going to get started cutting the other sides. It's easier to cut velvet when you're laying a pattern on top of a square piece to put the wrong sides together, because when you put the right sides together, they don't want to lay properly. They want to shift around. So I'm now going to cut the boxing panels and piping to make the boxing for these cushions. And when measuring the cushion forms here, it looks like 4 inches is going to be a good height for the boxing. So I'm going to cut it 5 to allow for the seam allowance, and the piping is always 1.5 inches and 1.5 inches. I am making 3 cushions for a sofa, and the pieces that I need for each cushion are 1 piece of boxing panel, and this one is 5 inches wide by 54 inches long. I need 2 zipper panel pieces, which I'll sew together to make the zipper, and these are each 4 inches wide by 33 inches long, and 2 piping panels, which will be cut in half. So these are 3 inches by 54 inches long, and each of these is going to be cut into 1.5 inch strips. So just cut down the middle, and that'll give me 4 pieces of piping 54 inches long. And finally, you're going to need 2 end pieces for the zipper. So those are 5 inches wide by about 8 inches wide. So now it's time to sew some zippers. My zipper panel pieces are both marked at the top so that I can get the direction correct for both of them. Cut this zipper panel down to the same size as the boxing panel, which is 5 inches. So we can put our zipper head onto the zipper. Now all these zippers have arrows to point to the end that you're supposed to put the zipper onto. So on this end where it's open, you're going to want to sew a little stopper. And now I've got my main panel and I'm going to sew it to the zippers, making sure that all the pieces are marked at the top on the same side so that they all run together. We'll need 2 pieces of the 3-inch piping for 1 cushion. Now, because this is velvet, I'm going to turn one of these pieces upside down and sew them together so that one is right side up and one is upside down. So after quite a lot of deliberating and looking at this on the sofa, I've decided that only this little bit here at the zipper where it meets the back of the sofa is going to need to be changed. On the bottom, it doesn't need to be changed at all because, for one thing, when you flip the cushion around, you're going to want this one to be in this direction. And also, because there's such a strong shading difference with this velvet, you're not really going to be able to flip those cushions because it'll be very obvious on the front edge that they are turned in the wrong direction. So a velvet that is this strong with its shading is really only one directional for its cushions. So again, you want to make sure that the front matches the panel, so everything is running the right direction. And then center your zipper panel on the cushion panel and get a stapler and staple it all together. So I finished sewing and stuffing the first cushion. The shading looks correct with the sofa. There's no glaring and obvious difference between the piping at the back and the back of the sofa. So I am happy with how this turned out. I'm going to finish sewing the other two, and I will get back to you with a photo of the finished product. So here it is, the finished sofa. Well, almost finished anyways. I still got hours to go before it's Instagram ready, but cushions are finished and the shading is proper, and whew, we can let it a sigh of relief. I think I got everything on there properly. Thank you for watching.